All right, guys, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the situation with Andrew Farago, who is a comic book historian, pretty well regarded in the Bay Area comic book scene. Everybody seems to know this guy in the comic book industry, and he has been arrested for taking videos of people with his phone while they're on the toilet in his house. And some of those people may have included minors. At a birthday party. He's been busted for this. I'm shocked that Comics Beat has actually posted this because I know he was very friendly with that crew over there. But this is one of the inner circle guys. Like this guy, again.
Wait, he's married to Shannon Garrity?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a whole, okay. So people were asking us yesterday to weigh in because they're like, well, didn't these guys run in the same circles you did? I'm like, yeah, I didn't know him. I think I talked to him once or twice.
Okay,
maybe.
Here's the thing though. Some people ran in the same circles we did, but some people thought they were better than everybody else in the same circles we ran in.
Yeah.
You know, even if other people outperformed them, they still thought they were better than other people. There's that, you know. It's like, it was very cliquey, just like anything else.
Yeah, the comic book industry is very cliquey, but this guy definitely was in the inner circle. I think his comic book career at this point is over. I mean, I don't see how you could possibly come back from this because apparently he admitted to it. It made the New York Post. It made the San Francisco Chronicle. And this explains because he was apparently yanked off the website from the Comics Museum.
Was he going to use it for yanking?
He was so many jokes, inappropriate jokes, because this is like, I don't know how far the rabbit hole goes on this one because he says it's the first time he's done that. I'm like, you don't just wake up and say, hey, I'm gonna record people taking a pee in my bathroom. Right? Like this is probably an ongoing, if I had to guess, I'm going to say this is an ongoing thing.
I don't know about that, but I just know that, you know, he's not very smart. And like, who does this? These are the people that, you know, I don't know of him in particular, but these are the same types of people that were making everybody sign the pledge in comic books.
The anti-rape pledge.
And all these things. And do this big hack like this and then gets busted doing this kind of stuff.
So that's where I'm gonna go with this. We're going to talk about Andrew Farago, but we're also going to talk about Heather Antos, who was another one that was like trying to police the comic book industry. And she got called out by Bleeding Cool, of all places. She got called out because she tried to cancel John Byrne. And she was trying to cancel John Byrne. I mentioned this in a short, but she was trying to cancel John Byrne's highly successful, already sold out 1980s X-Men follow-up, X-Men Elsewhen. She was mad because Abrams Comics Arts was publishing this, and she was telling people to boycott it because John Byrne said some things about trans people on his forum back in the day, and she's still pissed about it. And the X-Men are all supposed to be stand-ins for gay people or something, which is a relatively recent wrinkle.
And that's not even, come on.
Meanwhile, she is an editor at IDW, and IDW publishes some of John Byrne's stuff. And Chris Ryle from IDW is the one who put together this deal to get this book published over at Abrams, and he was the head honcho at IDW for a long time. So what I'm saying is we're taking the long way around. The comic book industry, the people that try to cancel everybody in the comic book industry are themselves getting canceled now.
Well, that is good, but here's the thing. Antos is one of those people, like, how the hell did they get work?
I have no idea.
You know, it's one of many of other than the fact that here's my milkshake and I'm a woman and all this other shit. I don't understand how they keep getting gone from one job and then suddenly getting another. I mean, if you talk about like, you know, filling upward, you know, be rewarded for incompetence. I think she's one of the key figures there.
The comic book industry is full of a lot of awful, broken people. And I really do think that it's the economics. I think that basically the comic book industry can afford what it can afford. So they've, in more recent years, let a lot of people into the industry that normally would not have been allowed into the industry, and they've wreaked havoc in the industry. And it's just kind of like end stage American comic books. But it's cool to see the situation with Byrne because the X-Men are failing big time at Marvel right now. He comes back with this follow-up to 80s X-Men. It was started as basically a fan comic he did on his own website. and now they're publishing it officially, and it's selling like gangbusters. The first printing is already sold out. This is a $40 book, and it's sold
because when you
out.
give people what they want, with people they want to read or want to see art from, it sells.
Exactly. And I know I got some pushback. I said before that if Marvel wanted to save itself at this point, they would actually walk it back about 20 years and undo a lot of the really unpopular decisions they've made with Spider-Man and the X-Men, whatever. Just go back like 20 years, be like, hey, we're going to reboot the universe, but actually we're not. We're going to deboot it. We're going to pretend the last like 20 years didn't happen. And some people made fun of me for that. They're like, oh, you're just a boomer or whatever. No, this proves it. You go back to 80s X-Men with John Byrne and you sell like gangbusters. That's all you got to do. Just fix that. You want to fix the characters, you have to undo the last 20 years. Use Franklin Richards or something. Be like, oh, this is the bad timeline, just like they did with the X-Men movies. It's the bad timeline. That's how we're going to erase The Last Stand, and then we're going to go make more bad movies. But just like pretend it didn't happen. And I think what's going to happen with comics, as is right now, is a lot of the awful people are going to get taken out here too. But it is weird to look at this and be like, these were the people that were going out of their way to cancel people hard. And I'm sorry, like this is one of Farago's Comics Journal obituaries for Scott Adams, and he has to get in the headline that, well, Scott Adams was a racist. I mean, actually, the write-up wasn't terrible overall until you get to the end, but he was fairly even-handed, I guess. But the fact is that Scott Adams, to the best of my knowledge, did not tape kids on the toilet, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's a far.
It's like what pot calling the kettle. Those don't live in glass houses. Those who live in glass houses, yeah.
Those look. It's been my experience that the people that have the most to hide are the most vocal critics of other people because they're trying to throw you off.
Look over there.
Look over there. Look at how awful those people are, and then it turns out that they're actually worse because they don't want you looking at them. They want you looking at somebody else. So let's talk about this disgusting turn of events. And it, I should be more surprised, but the thing is that having worked in and around comics, there's a lot of strange, weird, creepy people in the industry, and that's not everybody. It isn't, but the comic book industry for a long time covered up some bullshit. I mean, it really did. And I can't think that other people didn't know about this. I'm just saying. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woo-hoo.
If you'd like more Clownfish TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. It's moreclownfishtv.com for more episodes and podcasts you won't find anywhere else. And also go out to Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out the audio version of Clownfish TV. Okay, so here's the deal. This broke yesterday. Apparently he was arrested earlier this month, and the incident took place in his Berkeley home on his birthday. Okay. He was filming guests taking, using the bathroom, taking a dump, taking a piddle, including possibly children, and he admitted to it because how could he not admit to it? Because as he set the camera up, he filmed himself accidentally setting the camera up. So. Is he smart?
Not very bright either.
For a comic book historian and a museum curator, he does not seem to be that intelligent. Again, we have run in these circles. I know people who know him. I talked to him maybe I think once or twice, maybe
Never
online.
Spoken to him.
But yeah. So no, not a close personal friend. He does not have any video of my junk. I was surprised.
No one better have any.
Nobody has videos, and if you do, you got to pay for it. No. The Beat put it up. I was shocked. It wasn't Heidi McDonald though, because Heidi's actually, I believe, good friends with this guy. So yeah, that's got to be awkward. Like, oh, here's one of my besties, and they got to put up the rap sheet or whatever. But the freaking New York Post covered it, and I love their headline. San Francisco cartoon Big Shot admits to toilet cam recordings at birthday bash. Wow. A leading figure in San Francisco's cartoon community admitted to secretly recording guests, including children.
Oh, so they said it.
Yes, because that was on the police, including children inside a bathroom at his home, according to court records. Andrew Farago, who was a curator at San Francisco's Cartoon Art Museum, which is associated with Charles Schulz. He actually does Peanut stuff. He's done the history of the Peanuts. He's done the history of Batman, so he's worked with Warner Brothers.
Like
apparently,
he was looking into his nuts.
Yeah,
in his
right.
House.
Apparently, he was the guy who got EVS fired from DC, I guess, because he was working with DC. He works on Ninja Turtles. I know he's closely associated with Ninja Turtle stuff. I think that's what I talked to him about, was actually something about Ninja Turtles, because he was a historian on Ninja Turtles. So he works on a lot of big properties. And again, he was considered like a figure, but he's also a motor mouth. Like, he constantly was prowling social media looking for people to cancel who were on the right or,
if
just
you were
right of
doing
left.
your work, wouldn't you don't have enough time to prowl social media to go witch hunting people?
You would think, but the books were spaced out. Maybe the museum attendance was slow, so he had to had to prowl for fresh meat, both online and in person with his webcam, I guess. I don't know. He was arrested earlier this month at his South Berkeley home on 20 counts of invasion of privacy for using a camera to record the unsuspecting victims at a birthday bash last month.
So I'm assuming someone found the camera.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. The 50-year-old had hosted the party at his house on May 23rd, where both adults and children used his bathroom. At one point, a woman found a cell phone in the bathroom recording video. Farago had allegedly set the phone up and concealed it with a towel and then aimed the phone to record people's genitalia as they use the restroom, according to police.
Oh.
These are not... Okay, so this is where there's a difference between, we think this guy was a creep, but there's no proof of it, and the police are saying this is what happened, and he's also admitting to it because he issued an apology. Apology, guys. I didn't mean to record your genitals when you came to my birthday party.
Well, they have part of his apology. I had my phone in our bathroom for the purpose of, notice was what he said, spying on our guests, my closest friends in the world. I had never done anything like this before. I don't know what possessed me to do it. Sure. He wrote in the note. That's how you lose friends really fast.
Yeah, I know you're my best friend in the world, but I really, really, really wanted to watch you pinch a loaf. And your kids, too.
I'm just like...
I mean, what?
You go around trying to get people fired for places, for things that were anywhere near as bad as this.
You voted for Trump. You must die and be excised from the industry.
Right, but if you're one of my friends, you come over to my house and I may or may not tape your kids' junk too. Your penises and vages for my own enjoyment.
Oh my God!
There's a lapse in judgment. What would you even do with that other than do?
You can't tell me. You can't tell me this is the first time he's done it. You can't tell me that. Like, this seems awfully... Like, what do you do? Just wake up one day, it's like, well, happy birthday to me. I want to see all my friends and their children's genitals.
Selling it online or something?
I don't know
if that's what he's going to do, but I know...
Comics is broke, He's probably not getting paid a whole lot to do these books. I don't know.
I know of an instance this happened in where I used to live and stuff. Like, somebody did the same thing. And I'm like... And it was a person that you wouldn't expect it from. So I'm like, either you're getting some kind of perversion off of it or they're selling it or something. I mean, it doesn't make sense, like, why you would do this.
So he was a staple at like San Diego Comic-Con.
Of course he was, because literally when I tell you, there are people who thought they were all that in a bag of chips. We ran into it so many times. If you had any professional credit, and that's not necessarily true because you have professional credit too, but some of these people, they just thought that they were the most important things in the world, and everybody kissed their asses, and they let everybody kiss their asses, and that's how they got moved up into these gigs, because they were honestly like, no better than other people, but because their asses were kissed and they were raised up because they were the right kind of person or whatever, they got elevated to these positions. And when I say there's cliques, that there was definitely cliques, and they were in the clique for sure. Him and Garrity both.
They were in the clique, yeah. There's about, like, I don't even know if there's 24 people that have just such an iron grip on the comic book industry. It's insane. You start to like connect all the dots. You're like, oh, this person knows this person who knows this person, and that's how this person got their job. That's how this person got fired.
Got these awards.
They all get the award. Yeah.
Because we know everybody on the judging committee, and that's how we get nominated and we win.
There's like 2 agents that rep all these people. There might be 3 now. And they get all the book deals, whatever. It's a very, like we've talked about this before, it's a very, very locked down industry for the most part. And the people who are the most successful, though, are like the Rob Liefelds and the McFarlanes and the Kirkmans, the people who don't get involved in the clique thing and they just do what they want and they don't give a fuck what other people think about them. That's the way to do it. You don't look, if you're a freelancer, you really don't have a lot of like good friends in this industry because they're all looking at you like, well, can I step on your head to get ahead? Mm-hmm. Can I take your gig? You know, what can I do? Can I stab you in the back
to
make sure?
Can I record you in the bathroom to get ahead?
Can I record you in the bathroom to get off later? And it really is. And this is, again, this comes down, I think, to in some ways to economics because not only are you hiring low caliber people because that's all you can afford, but because the money's not there like it is in other industries, everybody is competing for resources, they're competing for work, and they're willing to throw other people under the bus if they think it's going to get them ahead. And that's exactly what we've seen in especially the last like 10 years.
Well, this guy just threw himself under the bus, and now somebody else is going to get to be, the historian at the Cartoon Museum, and somebody else is going to get the gigs on these books because they're not going to give it to him anymore, especially books.
Oh, he's done.
Like Ninja Turtles are selling it to kids and stuff.
Yeah, he's
done. And Garrity and Co. are probably, completely screwed at this point.
Yeah. So this is Fandom Pulse has an article on it too, but they were talking about how they were going hard after the Comicsgate thing at the very beginning. I mean, again, you want to look at just how disproportionate it is. It's like, okay, people voted for Trump and said mean things online or made rude jokes or whatever online is not the same as filming children in the bathroom. It's not the same as threatening or participating in violence, getting people fired, trying to cancel. We'll get to Heather Antos. Now, Heather Antos, to the best of my knowledge, has not done anything remotely close to what Farago has done, but she has spent an inordinate amount of time trying to cancel people she does not like.
Well, see, and every time we see this happen, most times, I'll say most times, we see this happen, it usually turns out that person, there's dirt on them too, being hidden, because they're too busy being obsessed with everybody else.
Yeah.
It usually turns out that there's something else going on there too. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case with Antos, but I've seen it time and time again with other people.
So she's actually getting called out. I think people are tired of her. The only reason Heather Antos,
I've been tired of her for a long time.
The only reason she is even in the comic book industry now, I think, is because of the milkshake thing and all the attention that was heaped on her. I think what would have happened, because she actually was out of comics for a while. She went and she was doing like esports or something, whatever. She was doing something else, but she clearly was never really into comics that much. But the reason again, it comes down to economics. Why is she in comics? Well, she's working for IDW, which is broke ass right now, right? Mm-hmm. So she's probably working pretty cheap and living in California and making whatever the hell they're paying editors there. I can't even imagine it's more than $30,000-$40,000 a year in California. Good luck with that. But they kind of kept her around as, I think, an FU to the Chuds. We can't let the Chuds win. We can't let the Chuds chase these people out of comics. Most of these people who were around in 2017, 2018, 2019 that were doing a lot of the cancellation, the hardcore cancellation, most of them just naturally got pushed out of the industry because they couldn't hack it. The Mags Visagios and I can't remember half these people.
A lot of people got in because they were coasting on the whole, you're a bigot if you don't, and you don't let us have our own way, and that whole time period where basically if you didn't do what they wanted, they called you names, and people didn't want to be called names, so they would stand down, let them do it. A lot of people were afraid to stand up to it because they were afraid they'd get eaten too, but that you were going to get eaten, but you're going to get eaten last.
Yeah. And,
it was that whole time where they basically were just using it to get their friends in and get their friends gigs.
Yeah. And that's basically...
They were qualified.
From my understanding, that was like Antos's thing too, is like, I don't know her, I've never met her, but just looking at it from the outside, it looks like she used her platform to bring her friends in and like-minded people in. And then every product she works on, every line she works on, all of a sudden it becomes like super hyper political activism. Star Trek is the gayest it's ever been, it's like everything is like, she's bringing in certain kinds of people. We had, My God, they had My Little Pony. IDW My Little Pony hires a literal sex worker who is on social media bragging about draining balls on social media to work on a little girl's comic. And, you know, it's just like, it's so wild. It's like, it's such a shit show over there. I don't understand, because I did work for IDW. And the people I worked with back then were pretty normal. I mean, I had a hard time getting paid, but I didn't have any problems with any of the people I worked with. They were fine. But it's just like, God, this is like the lowest. This is like freaking the Artist Alley kind of caliber of the publishing industry right now, where just anything goes, you know? Nothing against Artist Alley people. We did that for years, but I'm just saying, it's like, it's not presenting in a professional manner in any way, shape, or form, and that somehow this company is still hanging on, and they lose money every year, right? But Rich Johnston, shockingly, is calling Heather Antos out. Now, he's not like putting her on blast, but he's basically like going on about the history of John Byrne, what he meant to X-Men. He's also talking about some of the stuff that he said on his forum that people took issue with. Okay, but then he gets down here, and it's like, okay, so he's basically just defending her. No, he's like, yeah, I asked Antos, because Antos said to boycott the book. And then she said, don't be boycotting the book. I never told people to boycott the book, but she specifically said on Blue Sky, do not buy this book. What do you think? And why are you publishing Byrne's work during Pride Month? Which, what does that have to do with anything? Maybe it's Pride Month with a Y and it's Kitty Pride. But she's currently the senior group editor for licensing at IDW, including Star Trek and Paramount, IDW Crime, and IDW Dark Visions. And we're going to talk about this because this is very important, because they're also publishing John Byrne stuff over there. And I think she got her job in part because of Chris Ryle. And Chris Ryle, formerly of IDW, was in charge of IDW for years when it was good, is the one who got this thing published. So it just looks bad on so many levels. From losing millions of dollars. Oh yeah, she's credited in recent financial reports for turning around the fortune of the publisher. And now I
doubt that. Fully.
From losing millions of dollars to breaking even, it cannot be okay. So this is it. He has to. It cannot be expressed more clearly than the sentence, Heather Antos has saved ITW. No. Nuh-uh. However. Okay, so he's basically like, oh, Heather, you're the greatest, but I got to call you out for this because what the fuck? However, it's also notable that the X-Men project she objects to was arranged by former IDW IEC Chris Ryle, who hired Byrne for IDW, and that IDW is currently publishing old comic books by Byrne, including Star Trek work, with a new volume out in October. So they're publishing his stuff right now, and she's telling people not to buy it. Antos has chosen not to publicly target her own publisher or name her employer's former boss. It's very likely she cannot openly disparage her own employer in the way that she can a former employer, but does open her up to charges of inconsistency in such a matter. So she sidestepped all of this, which is even kind of more skeevy. She said on Blue Sky, during Pride Month, really, Marvel, do not buy this comic, neglecting to mention that IDW is currently publishing John Byrne's work, which means John Byrne's work is paying her salary in part. And also the former head honcho of IDW, longtime boss at IDW, Chris Ryle, is in charge of this project. It's not actually for Marvel. It is Marvel, but it's also being published by Abrams Comic Arts. So she's sidestepping the whole IDW thing. And then apparently she got called out on that by Rich Johnston. I asked Antos what made the Marvel book different from an IDW book doing the same thing. I never said it was. People can spend their money supporting whatever books they choose. She said specifically, do not buy this comic.
Right.
Do not buy this comic.
But you did.
She completely said it. I can only hope people educate and make the best decisions for themselves. And as to the upcoming Star Trek John Byrne collection at IDW, not a book I edited, however. Well, do not buy this book, I guess. Do not buy it and help me not get paid this week because you didn't buy the book. Nor do I edit the back catalog, but I also do understand not everyone is aware of his past. They're not responsible for his actions if they choose to support the books. We can and must always do better. That's not what she said. Do not buy this comic. Mm-hmm. So we could argue what's going on at IDW, if their fortunes are actually being turned around. I personally don't think it is. I think they got rid of a lot of dead weight. But I don't think she's making a good case for herself to get hired elsewhere, because they're going to be like, you're a drama queen. Drama follows you wherever you go. And
it's not worth it.
No, and you're going to throw your coworkers and your employers under the bus to get some upvotes on social media. That's how she rolls. And that's all she said. Oh my God. Yeah. So he basically spent this whole thing building a case for why people should hate John Byrne and his opinions. And, then at the very end, like, well, she's a great editor. She's turned IDW around, but I did have to ask her why she's such a fucking hypocrite. Because she is.
Yeah, she really is. But I mean, I'm not surprised though. She's kind of been like that for a while now.
But all these people, like I'm not saying everybody, but look, comics covers for itself. People are shocked. A lot of like YouTubers and stuff that aren't familiar with the inner workings of, especially the indie comics or lower end of comics. I'm not talking the big guys working at, the top levels of Marvel and DC. There's more professionalism there. But when you start getting down into like the dark horses and the IDWs and stuff, there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of shitty people, and they're covering for a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me that people didn't know about this guy. You can't tell me that people aren't like, yeah, we're never going to hire Heather Antos for anything. It's just all going to come out, I think, as the industry just kind of implodes. But there we go. We got to wrap this up.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.